Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches high-speed internet in Lakshadweep, pitches the island chain as an international tourist destination. Sri Lanka bans Chinese research vessels from docking at its ports or operating within its exclusive economic zone for 1 year. And Japan begins an investigation into the fatal Tokyo plane collision. Earthquake death toll rises to 64. On day 2 of his visit to Lakshadweep, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday inaugurated and dedicated to the nation development projects worth $140 million, including the Kochi-Lakshadweep submarine optical fiber connection project, among others. He said that the optical fiber will ensure 100 times faster internet connection for the locals.
2020 में आपको मैंने गारंटी दी थी कि 1000 दिन में आपको तेज इंटरनेट की सुविधा पहुंच जाएगी। आज कोच्चि लक्षद्वीप सबमरीन ऑप्टिकल फाइबर प्रोजेक्ट का लोकार्पण हो गया है। अब लक्षद्वीप में भी 100 गुना अधिक स्पीड से इंटरनेट चल पाएगा।
Prime Minister Modi also said that the Indian government is trying to put Lakshadweep on the international tourism map.
आजादी के अमृत काल में विकसित भारत के निर्माण में भी लक्षद्वीप की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। भारत सरकार लक्षद्वीप को इंटरनेशनल टूरिज्म मैप पर प्रमुखता से लाने का प्रयास कर रही है। हाल में ही जो G20 की एक मीटिंग यहां हुई है, उससे लक्षद्वीप को अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पहचान मिली है। स्वदेश दर्शन योजना के तहत लक्षद्वीप के लिए डेस्टिनेशन स्पेसिफिक मास्टर प्लान बनाया जा रहा है। अब तो लक्षद्वीप के पास 2 ब्लू फ्लैग बीचेज हैं।
Afterwards, Prime Minister Modi, during a visit to the southern Indian state of Kerala on Wednesday, took part in a roadshow at Thrissur. A large number of people could be seen lining up on both sides of the road to catch a glimpse of him. They showered flower petals on him and his entourage. The Prime Minister reciprocated by waving to the people. Later, Prime Minister Modi took part in a BJP women's meet. The gathering saw the participation of a large number of women. More than 200,000 women gathered there to welcome the Prime Minister. They felicitated him for the passage of the Women's Reservation Bill. A large number of women from all sections of society took part in this mega gathering. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister slammed the Congress and the left for not giving a rightful place to women and ignoring the potential of women power.
आजकल देश में मोदी की गारंटी की चर्चा है, लेकिन मैं मानता हूं देश की नारी शक्ति विकसित भारत के संकल्प की सिद्धि की सबसे बड़ी गारंटी है। दुर्भाग्य से आजादी के बाद लेफ्ट कांग्रेस की सरकारों ने, एलडीएफ, यूडीएफ की सरकारों ने नारी शक्ति को कमजोर माना।
Moving on, Sri Lanka has notified India that it will not permit any Chinese research ship to operate within the exclusive economic zone or dock at its ports for 1 year. Now, this after India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi urged Sri Lanka's President Ranil Wickremesinghe to respect India's strategic and security concerns. The declared moratorium was conveyed to India through diplomatic channels last week. Now, this implies that Sri Lanka will not approve the Chinese scientific research ships to carry out deep water exploration in the southern Indian Ocean from 5th January to the month of May. In the past, Chinese research ships, hydrographic vessels and ballistic missile trackers have all reached the Indian Ocean region for surveys and research purposes. And my colleague Ahmed Moeen Faruqi now joins us from Colombo. Why has Sri Lanka banned Chinese research vessels, and what kind of threats did those vessels pose to India?
Good evening, Ramesh. Yes, it's a very important matter here that there have been several requests made from Indian side on several occasions that there is a point with regard to the maritime security of Indian Ocean region. India has always stressed that a secure India is also in the interests of secure Sri Lanka. And the maritime security has been one of the most important points that India has been taking up in various fora, including the Indian Ocean Reef Association Forum also. That is one of the reasons why Sri Lanka has had a keen consideration with regard to, the security interests. This was also highlighted by Prime Minister Narendra Modi when Sri Lanka President Ranil Wickremesinghe had visited India during July last year. So that has been one of the reasons why Sri Lanka has taken this decision that Chinese research ships will not be allowed to operate within the EEZ, that's the exclusive economic zone of Sri Lanka in the Indian Ocean region, or even dock at either of its any of its ports in the island nation. So that has been the reason why this has happened. However, the threats is something, most of these research vessels, they are dual purpose, and the data that they could obtain could have implications in both research purposes as well as maritime security as well. So that has been one of the points that India has always raised, that these vessels, the data, whatever they have been collecting, they could have ramifications in both sides, both the service side as well as the security side. So that is one thing that India is pointing at. However, Sri Lanka has had maintained.
All right, Ahmed Moeen, we'll have to interrupt you there. Apologies for that bad audio link. We'll try to connect with you, if possible, later on the broadcast. But for now, thank you. Appreciate it. That was my colleague Ahmed Moeen Faruqi reporting from Colombo. Right, moving on, India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar will visit Nepal's Kathmandu for the 7th meeting of the India-Nepal Joint Commission. The India-Nepal Joint Commission was set up in 1987. It offers a platform for the two countries to review all aspects of their relationship. Minister Jaishankar will call on the leadership of Nepal and also meet other political leaders. Meanwhile, Nepal's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Narayan Prakash Saud, held a meeting with former Indian diplomats to discuss about bilateral ties. Nepal says it looks forward to exploring ways for promoting its exports to India and improve cross-border infrastructure as well. Nepal is a priority partner of India under its Neighbourhood First policy. India's top court delivered a judgment on a bunch of petitions seeking an investigation into allegations of accounting fraud and stock manipulation against Adani Group companies, which was published by Hindenburg Research in January 2023. The top court said that the report by Hindenburg cannot become a basis of a separate probe. The court has directed the country's market regulator, SEBI, to complete its probe into two pending cases within 3 months. The court said that its powers to enter the regulatory framework of SEBI is limited. Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud pronounced the verdict in the case that was reserved on 24 November after the conclusion of arguments. India's Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said that the country has done good work in the energy sector. was addressing a press conference in New Delhi on Wednesday.
Even as our consumption is going up, as we have ensured availability, affordability, and transitioning sustainability, we have also done very good work in the E&P sector.
Minister Puri also said that a total of 22 countries and 12 global organizations have so far joined the Global Biofuel Alliance launched by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the G20 summit held in New Delhi last year.
This was an alliance launched when the Honorable Prime Minister was presiding over G20. Other countries are joining in, more countries are joining in, 22 countries and 12 international organizations. And I think biofuels succeeding in India, already successful in Brazil and the US, we are slowly but surely heading in the direction of Global Biofuels Alliance.
The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is being undertaken across India with the aim to inform people about government welfare measures by ensuring that their benefits reach the targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. The Yatra reached Aizawl in India's northeastern state of Mizoram. The locals responded to it with great enthusiasm. India's Jammu and Kashmir will host a mega startup expo on Thursday. The country's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar will attend the event, where innovators will unveil their groundbreaking work spanning the sectors of agriculture, industrial biotechnology and space.
In a historic moment for India's Jammu and Kashmir, a mega startup expo is set to unfold in the city of Kathua, marking a pioneering venture for the international border town. This Thursday, Vice President of India Jagdeep Dhankar will inaugurate the event. Under the theme, Emerging Startup Trend in North India, the expo will showcase 25 startups from North India.
Startup does not mean only IT, because incidentally it came from abroad, got landed in Bengaluru and got identified with IT. So this aroma, this vaccine, these are all examples of non-IT startups, which might require a skill of a different nature, not necessarily an IITian. And that is one reason why they are choosing B towns to have these expos.
The event's core objective is to create a convergence point for budding entrepreneurs and seasoned mentors, fostering innovation, collaboration and growth. The selected startups will present various innovations during the expo, allowing attendees hands-on experiences with cutting-edge technologies.
Just about 350 startups in 2014, we are more than 1 lakh. And that has also paved the way and sort of tried to give a different direction to the Indian mindset, that there is livelihood outside the government job, which could be sometimes much more lucrative.
Beyond the business realm, this expo holds significant value for local youth, students, budding entrepreneurs, young farmers and women in the Jammu region. The ultimate goal of events like these is to encourage the youth to embark on startup careers, contributing to the nation's journey towards self-reliance.
The Mega Startup Expo in Kathua is expected to be a catalyst for innovation and collaboration. A total of 25 startups from North India will take part in the event, which is expected to push boundaries, embrace change, and pave the way for a self-reliant future. With camera person Vinay, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
All right, now take a look at stories making news around the world. A former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, has been charged with contempt of the Electoral Commission on Wednesday. Imran Khan's lawyer made the announcement with a post on social media platform X. The Election Commission of Pakistan initiated contempt proceedings against Khan and other former leaders of his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf political party. Storm Henk has lashed large parts of the United Kingdom, bringing heavy rain and strong winds. The winds caused power outages, transport disruptions and flooding. The Sho Dang people in Vietnam's Dak Lak province are celebrating a fresh harvest with their ritual of the new rice ceremony. During this ceremony, villagers expressed gratitude to the gods, praying for a bountiful harvest, abundant rice and maize, productive animals, prosperity and happiness. Researchers at England's Sheffield Hallam University have found out that a fingerprint test to check for breast cancer could eventually replace the mammogram. Now, this move could increase the number of tests carried out and save more lives. Still to come on DD India Live. Bangladesh deploys army for peaceful conduct of the 7th January national election. And Asian shares extend a global sell-off while the dollar holds gains.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world, one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. To West Asia now, where Hamas's deputy leader Saleh al-Aruri was killed in a drone strike in Lebanon's capital Beirut on Tuesday. Aruri was the first senior Hamas political leader to be assassinated since the conflict began. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah said on Tuesday that it had targeted a group of Israeli soldiers in the vicinity of Marj with missiles following Aruri's killing. Israel's military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said on Tuesday that Israel is focused on the battle against Hamas from the beginning and that it will continue to do so.
I won't respond to what was heard here or elsewhere. We are focused on the battle against Hamas from the beginning and will continue to do so. We will update the public with instructions when needed, and we change and specify instructions accordingly in the noon, evening and morning, and will continue to do so. The public is also responsible and will continue to be as such, and we'll update the instructions. These instructions are life-saving.
להמשיך לנהוג באחריות, אנחנו נעדכן, אלה הנחיות מצילות חיים.
The United Nations Security Council is likely to meet on Wednesday to discuss the situation in the Red Sea. France's ambassador to the UN said that there is a repetition of violations and military actions in the Red Sea region.
It's very likely that the Council will meet on the issue soon. So we will confirm this, but I think the situation is bad. There is a repetition of violations and military actions in this area. And of course, we cannot leave it like that. We need to take action.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and British Foreign Secretary David Cameron spoke about the attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea and the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine in a call on Tuesday. U.S. State Department said that the two leaders discussed the need to improve civilian protection and humanitarian aid delivery to civilians in Gaza. They discussed the importance of collective multilateral action to address threats to global interests posed by Iranian-backed Houthi attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Meanwhile, global shipping firms continue to avoid the Red Sea route that gives them access to the Suez Canal after a weekend attack on a vessel operated by the company Maersk. Shipping giants Denmark's Maersk and German Hapag-Lloyd have been rerouting some sailings via the Cape of Good Hope in the southern tip of the African continent. Maersk had on Sunday paused all Red Sea sailings for 48 hours after attempts by Yemen-based Houthis to board the Maersk Hangzhou. U.S. military helicopters repelled the assault and killed 10 of the attackers. But Hapag made it clear that rerouting is being done until at least 9th of January, when it will decide the further course of action. In North America, the U.S. says it will reopen some southern border crossings on Thursday that have been closed as a result of the record number of migrants reaching the country. Tighter enforcement by Mexico and a holiday lull led to lower numbers of illegal entries over the past several days after weeks of acute strains. Operations will be resumed at an international bridge in Eagle Pass in the U.S. state of Texas, 2 crossings in the state of Arizona, and another near San Diego in the state of California. U.S. agents recorded nearly 250,000 illegal crossings along the country's southern border in December, which was the highest one-month total ever. Meanwhile, New York City officials have accused Texas governor of being a bully who is trying to destabilize the cities. At his first press conference of 2024, New York City Mayor Eric Adams said that Greg Abbott is not on the side of right. Meanwhile, migrants in Mexico wait to receive travel permits that will allow them to reach the border with the U.S. An activist, Luis Garcia, said that the permit will allow 4,000 migrants to move freely through Mexico for 1 year. Most migrants boarding the buses departed the city of Tapachula on 24 December in a caravan organized by Garcia to demand travel permits from Mexican authorities. The latest of a series of caravans of migrants and asylum seekers, many with small children, is slowly walking across southern Mexico, heading towards the U.S. border. Moving on, the death toll from a massive earthquake that struck Japan on New Year's Day rose to 64 on Wednesday. Thousands of passengers have been affected after a large volume of flights were cancelled at Tokyo's Haneda Airport on Wednesday, following a plane collision that happened a day earlier. While 3 runways at Haneda have been resumed operations, around 100 flights scheduled for departure or arrival remain cancelled. While authorities rush to reach aid to survivors, they are facing freezing temperatures and heavy rain forecast for later in the day. Meanwhile, Japanese authorities released the transcripts of fatal aircraft collision on Wednesday. The authorities said that a passenger jet that collided with a Coast Guard aircraft was given permission to land, but the smaller plane was not cleared for takeoff. All 379 passengers on board the Japan Airlines plane were safely evacuated, but 5 of the 6 people on board the Coast Guard aircraft are reported dead. The collision involved one of the planes that was headed to the Niigata airport to deliver aid to the earthquake-hit areas. Japan's Prime Minister Kishida Fumio, meanwhile, said that the aircraft collision at Tokyo's Haneda Airport has not affected the delivery of aid to the quake-hit areas of the country.
With regards to your question about whether the accident at Haneda Airport is affecting the delivery of aid to quake-hit zones, at the moment, various ministries are working together and have secured various routes. I believe the accident at Haneda Airport has had no impact on aid delivery.
Meanwhile, another series of earthquakes in Japan's Noto Peninsula on Wednesday morning has inflicted still more damage. The latest tremors have caused cracks on road surfaces and even seeing some sections cave in. The death toll has risen to 64 following a major earthquake on New Year's Day. Japan's meteorological agency forecasts heavy rains which could increase the risk of landslides. Bangladesh Army has been deployed across the country for peaceful conduct of the forthcoming national election. The Army was stationed at nodal points and other convenient places in every district. The deployment was carried out at the request of the returning officers and in coordination with the stakeholders concerned. The country's 12th parliamentary election will take place on 7th January. The European Union on Wednesday added Russia's Alrosa, the world's biggest diamond producer, to its sanctions list. Alrosa CEO Pavel Alexievich Marinchev has also been added to the list as part of the 12th package of sanctions in line with EU's diamond ban since February 2022. A similar ban had been announced by the group of 7 countries in December of 2023. The dollar eased slightly on Wednesday, though it stayed near a 2-week high because of an elevated U.S. Treasury yield and a risk rally stall that weighed on Wall Street. The New Zealand dollar was last 0.29% higher at 0.62695 to the US dollar. Likewise, the Australian dollar bounced 0.09% to 0.6767. Meanwhile, the US dollar stood not too far from a 2-week high of 102.25 on Tuesday and was last at 102.13. Asian shares extended a global sell-off while the dollar held gains on Wednesday. South Korean shares slid 2.1% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index fell 1.1% as technology shares dropped 2.2% after a tech-led slide on Wall Street. Markets in Japan remained shut for a public holiday. Bitcoin rose 0.7% to $45,287, not far from a 21-month peak of $45,922 on Tuesday. And oil prices extended declines because of softened expectations of rate cuts and reduced concerns over Red Sea supply disruptions. To sports news now, in a major boost to her career, former US Open champion Emma Raducanu moved into the main draw of the Australian Open. It happened after Lauren Davis of the US pulled out of this year's first Grand Slam with a shoulder injury. Raducanu had slipped to number 301 and could for a wild card and was set to take a similar path as a 2021 Flushing Meadows run when she became the first player in the Open era to win a major after starting out in the qualifying rounds. But the exit of Davis, which followed withdrawals by Karolina Muchova, Petra Kvitova, Irina Camelia Begu and Katie McNally, opened up a spot for Raducanu in the main draw. Karolina Pliskova gave Naomi Osaka a reality check on a return to tournament tennis by rallying for a 3-6, 7-6, 6-4 win in a high-quality second-round clash. Aryna Sabalenka also reached the last 16, ramping up preparations for Australian Open title defence with a 6-3, 6-0 win over Lucia Bronzetti. The Belarusian top seed will next face Danielle Collins or Zhu Lin. Osaka had eased through her first tour match in 15 months on Monday after taking time out of the game to have a child, but former world number 1 Pliskova proved an altogether tougher prospect. Top-ranked Poland overpowered China with Hubert Hurkacz and Iga Swiatek, propelling them into the United Cup semi-finals with a singles sweep. In football, West Ham missed out on a 4th successive Premier League win as the fixtures coincided with a drab 0-0 draw at home to Brighton and Hove Albion on Tuesday. Pascal Gross should have put Brighton in front shortly before half-time, but his header was saved by Alphonse Areola, while Adam Lallana went close to a late winner. Brighton would have moved above West Ham into 6th place with the victory, but chances were few and far between as the London Stadium with a point apiece, a fair outcome. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website, ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.